why is Taylor Swift's name suddenly at the center of a shocking legal scandal? And how did her close friend Blake Lively allegedly end up threatening her? This isn't tabloid drama. It's all in court filings. And what's inside might change everything about a case making headlines across the country. It's getting messy. Let's dive in. It started like any other court update. Routine filings, buried in legal jargon, skimmed over by reporters. But then, one name sent shockwaves through the system. Blake Lively. Yes, that Blake, the actress, the philanthropist, the fashion icon, wife to Ryan Reynolds, longtime bestie of Taylor Swift. But according to this explosive legal document, Blake wasn't just tangentially connected to the case. She was allegedly involved in witness interference. The allegations are serious. In black and white, the filing accuses Lively, directly or through her legal representation, of trying to pressure Taylor Swift into deleting communications that may be relevant to an ongoing civil lawsuit. Let's be clear, this isn't hearsay. This isn't a rumor. This is a sworn court filing, where every claim is made under penalty of perjury. The exact words: an attempt to compel a third-party witness to remove electronic communications from a device potentially subject to subpoena. That legal language is not accidental. It's strategically chosen to invoke the specter of obstruction. But what on earth was in those messages? And why would Blake, who has stayed out of controversy her entire career, risk her name, her reputation, and possibly even her legal standing to bury them? This wasn't just a celebrity being named in a filing, it was a nuclear-level accusation, and it just detonated at the heart of one of Hollywood's most beloved friendships. The court documents go further. They detail a moment that's now being dissected by lawyers, fans, and media analysts alike. A personal outreach from Blake to Taylor Swift, allegedly requesting that Swift delete specific text messages exchanged between the two of them. Not redact, not withhold. Delete? From a legal standpoint, this is not just inappropriate. It could be unlawful. If Swift's phone had already been identified as a potential repository of relevant information, even indirectly, those texts are now part of what's called the chain of evidence. Destroying them would not just raise eyebrows, it could be considered evidence tampering. Here's the catch: even if Blake had no criminal intent, even if she just wanted to avoid bad PR or a misunderstood message getting out, her alleged request could still be seen as an attempt to obstruct discovery. And what kind of messages could be so damaging that she allegedly asked Taylor to wipe them? Was it gossip about another party in the case? Did Blake admit something in confidence she feared could be used against her? Or was it more subtle? Tone, context, motive. Whatever it was, the fear of exposure must have been enough to risk everything. And now, that fear has backfired. Because the mere attempt to delete evidence is now the headline. But the text deletion request was only the first move. The filing alleges that Blake's team, described as external legal representatives, took things even further. They allegedly approached Taylor with a bold proposition: make a public statement that distances herself from the legal controversy or face the release of private communications. The court describes it as a pressure campaign, one that used implicit reputational threats to elicit compliance. Let that sink in. According to the filing, Blake, or those acting on her behalf, tried to use Taylor Swift's global image as leverage. The threat was subtle but unmistakable. Help us protect this narrative, or we can't guarantee what stays private. This goes far beyond celebrity drama. This is potential coercion. It veers into what legal scholars refer to as extrajudicial influence, when someone attempts to shape a legal outcome using pressure outside the courtroom. If proven, it doesn't just reflect poorly on Blake's legal team. It could cast doubt on the integrity of her entire defense. In civil litigation, optics matter. Pressure tactics, even hinted at, can be enough to turn a judge's ruling. So now, instead of facing one lawsuit, Blake could be looking down the barrel of a second front, one focused entirely on her legal strategy, not the original complaint. But here's where the tables turn. Taylor Swift, known for her meticulous planning, her legal awareness, her protective wall of advisors, didn't just ignore the pressure. According to the filing, she documented everything in what lawyers describe as a preservative notice. Swift's legal team fired back, reportedly in a written statement. What they said hasn't been made public yet, but sources say it was firm, formal, and unequivocal. They flatly rejected the request. They reportedly warned that any further attempts to influence Taylor or alter communications could result in legal escalation. That's big, because now Swift's team has turned what could have been a one-sided pressure tactic into a potential liability for Blake. And here's the kicker: the court may compel Taylor's team to hand over that response as part of discovery. If that happens, we'll have black and white proof that Blake tried to influence Swift, Swift refused, and Blake kept pushing. That sequence of events, especially documented, would be devastating, and it turns Taylor into more than just a bystander. It makes her the pivotal witness. So what happens now? Let's talk consequences. First, if the court finds the allegations credible, that Blake attempted to delete evidence or coerce a witness, the judge could issue sanctions against her legal team. That could include monetary penalties, exclusion of key evidence, or even a motion for referral to bar disciplinary boards. Second, this might change the shape of the entire trial, because if a party in the lawsuit is caught attempting to interfere with evidence or manipulate third parties, it can lead to an adverse inference, meaning the court can legally assume the missing evidence would have been damaging. Think about that. Even if we never see the deleted messages, the court might assume they were incriminating, just because Blake allegedly tried to erase them. And third, and perhaps most importantly, this could become a case within a case. The original lawsuit might now become secondary. The spotlight has shifted to whether Blake crossed a line, and if that becomes the court's focus, everything changes. Here's the million-dollar question: could Taylor Swift be legally compelled to testify? The answer? Yes, under the right conditions. If the court finds that Taylor holds relevant, first-hand knowledge, like confirming Blake's request to delete texts or testifying about pressure tactics, then Swift becomes a material witness. In that case, the court can issue a subpoena ad testificandum, a legal order requiring her to appear for deposition or in court. Will it happen? Judges are extremely cautious about subpoenaing high-profile celebrities, especially someone like Taylor Swift, whose presence could completely derail proceedings into a media frenzy. But if Blake's alleged conduct revolves around interactions with Swift, then the court may have no choice. And here's what could happen. Taylor gets deposed. She answers questions under oath about the text request. She describes what was said, how she responded, and whether she felt pressure. And if she confirms even part of the allegations, Blake's credibility and her entire legal defense could collapse. While lawyers wage war in filings, fans are noticing something very different and very telling on social media. It started with a single click. Travis Kelce, Taylor's boyfriend, unfollowed Ryan Reynolds. That's Blake's husband. Now, in the chaotic world of celebrity social, media unfollows happen. Algorithms mess up. People clean house. But in this context, it feels deliberate, especially because fans notice that Taylor and Blake, once practically sisters, haven't been seen together in months. No birthday shoutouts, no red carpet appearances, no Instagrams. The energy has shifted. And in Taylor's world, silence speaks volumes. And if you look closer, there's more. Ryan Reynolds hasn't mentioned Taylor in interviews recently. Blake hasn't liked or commented on any of Taylor's latest posts. And as of today, not a single appearance together since before the court filing. Coincidence? Or a calculated pullback? If Taylor's team saw the court documents coming, it's possible she began distancing herself early, before the media firestorm hit. And if her legal response is as sharp as sources claim, this friendship may already be over behind closed doors. Here's what we know. A serious legal filing now alleges that Blake Lively's team attempted to manipulate Taylor Swift. Text messages, legal threats, potential intimidation. And Swift? She documented it. If she's called to testify and confirms even part of this, the ripple effect could reshape the entire case. It could even lead to formal sanctions against Blake's lawyers. But it also raises a deeper question. Was this ever just a friendship? Or a calculated alliance that's now falling apart? Only time and the court will decide. What do you think? Is Taylor being dragged into something she never asked for? Or is this the moment she finally draws the line? Drop your theories in the comments and hit that subscribe for more exclusive breakdowns you won't see anywhere else.